When I was growing up, I hated meatloaf. I really did. And I don't know if it was because my mom made it with onions and, you know, I have that onion problem, whatever. I just was never a fan of meatloaf. But I've since started to make on my own turkey meatloaf, and I love it. I really started just making it for the family, and then I tasted it, and I was like, oh, this is good, you know, no onions, and also my other mixture that I put together. So I thought, well, what the heck, you know, I'm gonna make meatloaf, so I'm gonna videotape it, because that's what I do. So we have 2 pounds of ground turkey. This is the brand I found, and we put it in. Then I take some breadcrumbs. You can use plain, you can use flavored breadcrumbs, whatever you fancy. Take some breadcrumbs, okay. Then we take some Parmesan cheese, which I forgot to take out, so I'll be right back. This cheese is actually Romano, but you can use whatever you have on hand. So I'm just going to sprinkle some Parmesan or Romano, whatever you have. Next, I take a little bit of olive oil and just drizzle it on there. Just a little, maybe couple tablespoons at the most. I shake some Worcestershire. How do you say that? Worcestershire or Worcestershire? I don't know, let me know in the comments. Then I squeeze a bit of ketchup. Woo! That was a little bit not expected. Then I squeeze a little mustard, and I'm ready for this now. Just a tiny little bit of mustard. So that's about how much of each ingredient. I will take one of my Penzeys, maybe a little bit of the barbecue seasoning, and I'll sprinkle it in there. I take, strangely enough, a little bit of brown sugar. Let's get a spoon. And I use the light brown sugar, and I'll put maybe, so 1 teaspoon, it's like 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. Un huevo, 1 egg. Crack that right in. Now we have to get our hands in it. So off come the rings. Let me just give another wash to the hands. So now we just got to blend. And one thing that I should have mentioned and should have done is leave the breadcrumbs open so that I can maneuver the container over here if I need to sprinkle more. Okay, it could use a bit more on the breadcrumbs, so I'm gonna take the breadcrumbs over here. Let me get a paper towel. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit more. And then we're just gonna make a little more mashy mash. Okay, once we have a nice, what I like to do with the meatloaf is flatten it and roll in spinach and some cheese. And I usually cook the spinach first, but I forgot. So we're gonna cook it now. And it will only take a minute. So I take my spinach, my stack of spinach, take a big knife. I don't even bother to chop off I don't know if you're supposed to do that or what, but it doesn't really bother me to have the stems. Are you supposed to take those off? I don't know, but I include them. I figure there's nutrients in the entire vegetable. I'll take a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil. Not much, just like, if I'm guessing, that's maybe 2 tablespoons. And then I take my spinach and I just put it in the pan, put a cover on it, and let it cook. Would you like to join me? Okay, so I have this little bit of olive oil in here. I'm going to take my spinach and I'm just going to put it in, like so. Cover it up. Okay, that will take, I'm crazy. You can see how quickly it already gets a big bunch of spinach. You end up with like this much at the end, but okay, in about 1 minute we have spinach cooked, and we'll just plate it so it cools off a little bit faster. Okay, next up, we're just going to chop some cheddar cheese, and if you want to use mozzarella or Gouda or any kind of cheese, whatever you prefer, go for it. This is just what I have on hand, and I like it. So I'm just doing a few slices of cheddar, about that much, and I will set that aside. I have this loaf pan, which happens to have this cool thing where you can lift it out and then remove your meatloaf from the pan. But you don't need to have that. It's just that. It just happens to be what I have. So we're going to spray it just a bit. Okay, next we can take a piece of aluminum foil or a piece of wax paper, whatever you have. So what I do is I spray the aluminum foil. You don't want, and then we're going to take the mixture and we're going to press it into a nice sized rectangle on the aluminum foil, like so. Lift up my meatloaf, and then I just press it. And it's nice to make a nice long, as long as you can, because what we're going to do, and the most fun part, is we're going to roll it with the cheese and the spinach inside. Spoon my spinach onto it, like so. My spinach is still hot, not a big deal. Now I happen to have a piece of leftover broccoli, so I am going to be creative and add that in. Why did I save one piece of broccoli? You might wonder. Sometimes I think maybe in case I want to use it in an omelet, but for now I'm going to put it in the meatloaf. I have an idea. So that is what we've got so far. So you've got your spinach and your broccoli, and we're going to take our cheese slices and layer them on. You can use shredded cheese, or you can make blocks of cheese like so. And since I have this nice bit of parmesan cheese, I'm going to sprinkle some of that as well. Sprinkle. And that's what we have thus far. Next step is to carefully roll. So we are going to roll it and then get it into the pan. Wish me luck. I've done it before, I know it works. All right, so you fold it over. I wish I could, maybe I should bring you closer. Let's see if I can get you a little closer. So you see, we're gonna tuck it in, and then we're gonna roll. Tuck it in, and you have to peel it away from this side. So we're tucking and we're rolling, we're tucking and rolling. So we're gonna now bring it up this way, and we're gonna seal it on the sides. Okay, I'm gonna seal it on this side. And you can pick it up like so, like a baby. Be very careful with the baby. You don't want to, and then, you see this? We're gonna plop it in the pan, in the baking pan. I'm just gonna make sure that there's no holes opening up. We don't want anything sneaking out. So like so. The next and last step is either to drizzle it with a little olive oil, or you can dot it with a few bits of butter, just to give it a little bit of, it'll give it a chance to brown a little bit on top. And this is ready to go in for an hour at about a 350 to 380 oven. Well, it has been an hour exactly, and my, how the lighting has changed in the room. But let me get this out and let's take a look at it. Ooh. So we're nicely browned on top. It almost looks like a banana bread. We're nicely browned. It's got some really moisture in there from the little pats of butter. And just for the heck of it, I am going to take a quick temperature check on it. So if you prefer to work by temperature, it is 160 degrees in the center. And that's basically what you're going for. I usually like for a chicken or a turkey for it to be between 160 and 170 degrees in the center. So we're good. This is ready. This is actually just went up to 170. So we are right on the money. I'm just going to show you up close. Do you see how this lifts the meatloaf right out of the pan? This is a handy little baking dish that I found, and that feature is key. I like that. So what I'm going to do is lift it out, place it on my dish. So I take a spatula, I'm going to slide it off. Looks good. All right, now we're seeing it. It's like a little pinwheel. Yay!